I believe that in 4 weeks from the time a declaration of war is heard on our frontier, the whole of Upper Canada and a part of Lower Canada will be in our power. Representative John C. Calhoun, 1812. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Better History. My name is Logan, and today we are talking about the War of 1812. Let's get into it. So, the dispute between Great Britain and the French, who the war was kind of based around, started back in 1806 when France prohibited all of their neutral trade with Great Britain. This was part of the Continental System, something Napoleon set up to basically cripple Britain economically. In response to this, in 1807, Great Britain banned trade between France, their allies, and the Americas. They basically said you are not allowed to trade with your allies or the Americas anymore. They did that. They involved America because they didn't want neutral nations such as trading with France. Congress didn't like this, so in 1807 they retaliated with the Embargo Act. If you don't know what the Embargo Act was, it was a United States law that prohibited American ships from trading with foreign nations. This was enacted by President Thomas Jefferson in response to British and French interference with American ships during the Napoleonic Wars. It aimed to protect American interests and assert national sovereignty. However, this act had very significant negative consequences, not positive, negative consequences, for it particularly ruined the American economy for merchants and farmers, but it ruined it all around. Later in 1809, the U.S. would reopen trade with all nations that were affected by the Embargo Act, other than Great Britain and France. They didn't add back Great Britain and France into their trade routes because they wanted to try and economically control Great Britain and France and be like, you guys can't go to war because then you won't get to trade with us. In that sense. Now this non-intercourse act, which is what it was called, didn't help either. It was just as effective as the embargo act, so it wasn't effective at all. As like I just said, those both proved inefficient. The American economy was still in the depths. Due to this, the Americas passed Mackins Bill Number 2, which aimed to incentivize Great Britain and France to cease seizing American vessels during the Napoleonic Wars. It also prohibited British or French warships from entering American harbors and territorial waters. Additionally, it authorized the president to prevent the importation of goods from either Britain or France if the other nation revoked their edicts against neutral commerce before March 3rd, 1811. Now, the Mackins Bill, what I meant by which aimed to incentivize Great Britain and France to cease seizing American vessels, um, Great Britain would stop American vessels and say, we need to search this for Royal Navy deserters. Um, which they didn't. They just used that tactic to impress American seamen into the Royal Navy and to kind of enforce its blockade of neutral commerce. President Madison saw this and he's like, crap, that's not good. It's a matter of national sovereignty. And due to this, he asked for a declaration of war on the British on June 1st of 1812. Most people, including John C. Calhoun, the man I quoted at the start of the video, saw British Canadian land and the Oregon Territory as a potential prize in the war. Now, this is going to be the end of the video. I know it's short, but you guys voted to cut it in half. Now, I added a decent amount of extra details for you guys, try and make it more in depth because this is kind of a short video. It was kind of a short war, too. But yeah, there you go. That's the first part of the video. And Wednesday, we will be talking about the war itself. So yeah, if you enjoyed, like, subscribe, share. If you want to help keep history alive, donate to this link on the screen. Thank you guys so much for watching. You know the drill. Day or night. Have a good one.